Has anyone signed in? Right, I think we'll need to start, shall we? Good afternoon, everyone. So slightly damp Swansea University. I'm sorry the sunshine didn't come out for you today. So my name is Wendy Francis. I'm one of the academics here at Swansea University. I'm also the Programme Director for Genetics and Medical Genetics. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is just tell you a little bit about the university, but also about some of the courses, the genetics and biochemistry variations of courses that we have here at Swansea University. So I think in terms of location, Swansea University pretty much sells itself. You know, we are a beautiful location. We're very lucky. We have two very large campuses right on the seafront, literally on the beach. Okay, we've got that beautiful prom and the Swansea Bay sweeping right round to the lighthouse and the lifeboat station, right up to the marina by the town centre, and then beyond to the Bay campus, which is also right on the beachfront. Okay, it helps if the sun shines. But we are a beautiful location, lots of lovely walks and cycles up and down the prom. Anyone rollerblade? Lots of rollerbladers and roller boots we see along the prom, as well as skateboards and so on and so forth. So hopefully you'll get time today to have a look around Swansea, not just the campus, to get a feel for the city, okay, as well as the university itself. But in terms of reasons to study at Swansea University, teaching is something we very much prioritise at Swansea University, of teaching quality. It's very important to us. And I think I'd encourage you as well, if you're looking at institutions to go to for your undergraduate degree, to really look at teaching quality within the institutions. The NSS is the National Student Survey. So this is a survey that our final year students undertake every single year. And these are some of the metrics we've got from the National Student Survey with regards to our teaching. We are fellows at the Higher Education Academy, or Advanced HE as it's now called. We have a whole team of people working on teaching quality to ensure our teaching is top notch. Every year we undertake module review and programme review, so we're making sure that our modules are very up to date, innovative, and in terms of the science and the way we teach them as well. Okay, so we're always looking at that. I just want to draw your attention to the middle one as well in terms of academic support. We recognise students are very different. You've all come from very diverse backgrounds. Maybe you've been out of education for a little while. You're coming into university now. And we do put high priority onto academic support. I am a senior personal tutor for your degree programmes as well. It's something I'm very passionate about. I'm also a recognised practitioner in advising. Every student, as they come into Swansea University Medical School, will get a personal tutor. This is an academic member of staff who will stay with you throughout the duration of your degree. So they're a first point of contact, someone that you can go to if you're struggling academically with something, or maybe even you're struggling with something pastorally. So academic support is something that's very important to us. We want to ensure that you're happy, that you have a good student experience. And if there's anything that's stopping you from performing the best you can for your degree, then as academic mentors, as personal tutors, we can help, advise and support. But we also have lots of support across the institution as well. We've got academic success who help with academic skills. So maybe you feel that you need a little bit of extra support in terms of your scientific writing or oral presentations or referencing or whatever the academic skill is. We've got a whole team of people working with you. You can have one-to-one or workshops or whatever. We've also got loads of student support, both within the faculty, the student union. So lots of places you can go for support. We've got money at Campus Life. You may have been talked to them today. in Taliesin, so they're there. We've got student carers support, all sorts of different support that you can tap into if you need to help that journey through academia. That's really important to us. We also have lots of other rankings, and these are based on a whole variety of categories, such as student experience, our environment that we're learning in, our teaching environment, our resources, our facilities, our teaching quality, and of course we are a research institution as well. So that's really important. We're bringing lots of money into the university through our research every year. We also have great facilities. We're very lucky at Swansea University. We have multi-million-pound grants coming in that enable us to keep fully equipped with the latest machines that hopefully students will be able to access as part of their final year research project, or if you do an internship through the course of your undergraduate degree. These are, obviously you work with them under supervision of an academic, they're very expensive pieces of kit. But of course we're a medical school as well. And the fact that we're a medical school means that we do work very closely with all the hospitals around the area as well. So we can use their facilities as well. And a lot of the clinicians come in and are involved, even in the medical sciences programs, not just the professional programs, are involved in teaching and support as well. Okay. Hopefully you'll get time to look around the campus, if you haven't already, at some of the facilities we've got. I was doing the graduate entry medicine interviews a couple of weeks ago, which was up in the Susim Centre. Have you had a chance to go and look at that? Phenomenal, phenomenal. So it's all virtual reality. You literally walk into a room. It's all on the walls, so you can suddenly be in an ambulance or at the bottom of Wine Street. So simulated learning and things. I suppose at the moment they're mostly used in the health and social and in the professional courses, medicine and so on. But brilliant facilities that we've got available for students to use. Anyway, today I'm going to be focusing largely on biochemistry and genetics. This is our mission statement. You can read it with me. We train tomorrow's doctors, health professionals, and life scientists using an approach that spans basic science, health and social care, and the knowledge economy. Okay, this is really important to us. All right, so you need to be getting the right skills that you need. We are talking to future employers and alumni that have gone on to do amazing things to make sure that we are delivering the right skills as part of the undergraduate course. So you need to be passing the modules and to be successful at passing your degree. But of course, that's only a small part of university life. University life is about so much more. And it's about being proactive and getting involved. We've got loads of societies. You can join in with the committees on the societies. You can do some volunteering through Discovery. You can become a student leader. Often these are paid positions. You can become a student ambassador, which is paid. Okay, so there's lots and lots of opportunities for you to enhance your CV, to develop those transferable skills that's going to make you more desirable as you go into further education or employment. Okay, so makes you look really good on your CV if you can develop all these additional skills outside of the academic timetable. And your personal tutors will work with you to help you develop and enhance as an individual as you go through your undergraduate degree. Okay. So what do we do at the medical school? Well, we talked a little bit about learning and teaching. Obviously, that's high priority for us. Make sure our teaching is high quality, but we are very much a research institution as well. Okay, as I said, we are bringing in these £1 million grants. We've got internationally recognised research groups within the university, and that's great because the research very much informs our teaching. Researchers that are at the top of their field are teaching on our courses, but then of course the learning and teaching informs the research as well, because we need you guys. You guys are the next generation that are going to go into research. Okay, so that's really important. We also have this, enterprise and innovation. In the Institute of Life Science, we've got lots of companies, and it's a great idea really. The only way we're going to further medical science is by different stakeholders working together. So we need academics working alongside companies to further that medical science research. And it's brilliant that we've got these companies now on our campus working alongside our academics. And there will be opportunities for undergraduate students, particularly proactive undergraduate students, to maybe do some small internships with these companies, perhaps even do their final year project with some of these companies as well. Okay, so there are opportunities there. In terms of research, everything seems to follow or fall into one of these 4 themes. So we've got biomarkers and genes, medical devices, microbes and immunity, patient and population health, informatics. They're very broad. We cover quite a lot, okay? And they're not in isolation, okay? We've got a lot of collaboration that's very important. And of course, we collaborate with other schools within the university. The medical school collaborates quite a lot with the engineering school, but we also collaborate internationally as well with the research that we do. So I guess this is perhaps what you're more interested in hearing about, is the different courses that we have. So on the left, we have biochemistry, we have medical biochemistry, and then we have genetics and medical genetics. So for the biochemistry style courses, we'd be looking for A-level chemistry. For the genetics-based courses, we'd be looking for A-level biology. Okay, if you've got both, and you can't decide between them because they're both amazing, then we also have a joint honours programme that might interest you as well, if you want to do biochemistry and genetics. And you can see we also have the MSci programme for all of these as well, and I'll talk a little bit more about the MSci programme in a little bit. So that's our integrated masters programme. So the way the courses work is they're modular. The academic year starts at the end of September when you come in for an induction week, and the teaching starts right at the end of September. We don't have an October half term, we do not have a February half term, we do not have a May half term. Okay, what we do have is a very long Christmas, a very long Easter, and a very long summer. Okay, so we're slightly different from the school calendar. So you'll come in at the end of September, that went through this year to the 15th of December, which was the end of the teaching timetable, and then you come back in January to do exams, and then the teaching block 2 will start at the end of January and runs through to the exams that are in the May-June period. Okay. The degrees are modular. Some of those modules will be compulsory, but then as we go into year 2 and year 3, there's a lot more optional modules. So there's a lot of flexibility. So you might not know what you want to do coming into university in year 1, but hopefully by year 2, year 3, you're starting to get an idea, or at least be having those conversations with your personal tutor. And you can start tailoring the course to something that you're interested in. I recommend for students to really look at the different modules that we have. We know that students do so much better in things that they enjoy learning about. Assessment shouldn't be a chore. If you're learning about something you're interested in and that's enthusiastic to you, the assessments and the way that we assess our modules, okay, are there to promote learning. Okay, maybe the exams aren't, but certainly the mid-module assessments are there to promote learning. Okay, if you're finding it's a chore to do these assessments, you know, you've got to question why you're not enjoying the information or what you're learning. So please have a look at the modules that we teach on these courses and see if it is something that excites you, if it's something that you're interested in. The way that we teach this is very varied. So obviously lectures, you all think of university lectures. Okay, in year 1, our lectures are a bit wider, a bit larger, because they're shared. We're dealing with fundamental knowledge really in year 1. So a lot of the modules are shared across different degree programs, which means there are slightly larger lecture styles. The way we offset that is that if we're learning specific skills, or if it's more a discussion session, then we'll do that in small tutorials. And we could be talking 5 to 6 students in a tutorial. So you're working very closely with one academic member of staff who teaches you and takes you through that academic assessment and gives you the support and the development that you need. We don't expect you to come into university knowing how to do everything, knowing where to go to find the right information, what information is good to work with, what's not good information, how to write scientifically, how to reference. These are all skills that we're going to teach you as you come into year 1 of the academic programme. Okay, so lots of small group tutorials. We are also a very practical based course. It's really important. So there's a lot of wet lab practicals. Have you had the opportunity to go into the teaching labs yet? No. So this afternoon, students will be taken into the teaching labs, and you'll have a go within the teaching labs doing a little experiment. Okay, just to get used to being in the environment of a teaching lab. Okay, so it does mean that our academic timetable is quite full because of the practical experience that you'll get as a result of that. And the preps are great fun. They are. They're much more interactive. We don't like silence in preps because you need to be learning from each other. You need to be discussing and talking. It's a really good place to get to know the academic. So the academics will be coming around talking to you. But what's really good as well is that we have our postgraduate students, our Masters of Research and our PhD students that act as teaching assistants and demonstrators. So they come in the labs too to help and support. So if anybody is interested in doing a future career in research, then you've got the people who are doing the research to talk to, the students. So it's really, really interactive in the practicals, the wet lab preps. Okay, and really fun. And then of course there's the research project, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. Okay. So I'm not going to go into any specific detail on any of these courses. All the information is available online. How many of you have looked at courses online? It's good to see student hands go up as well as parents' hands. That's always good. Okay. So, I mean, it's very easy. If you just put Biochemistry, Swansea University into Google, it's usually quite high up on the search criteria. You've got a bit of a blurb on the homepage about the course, maybe the types of careers that you can go into with it. If you scroll down to the bottom, you've got loads of links. One of those links says modules, and you can look at every single module within the degree programs. So what's the syllabus? What are the learning outcomes? How are they going to be assessed? All that information is available for every year of the degree program. So please have a look. Please see if it's something that you'll be interested in, if that's something that's going to ignite your passion and you're going to engage with. So in terms of the biochemistry and the medical biochemistry courses, they've got that biochemistry flavour. But of course, in year 1, it's all fundamental science. So we've still got things like cell biology, physiology, microbiology, things like that. And the skills tutorials as well, in terms of scientific writing, working with calculations, everything that's going to support you as you develop throughout your academic course. Okay. As we go into year 2, we're starting to get a little bit more specialist, a little bit more challenging. Okay, so now maybe in year 1, it's about what happens under normal circumstances. How does everything work? How does it all fit together? In year 2, what happens when it goes wrong? Evaluation, disease. So the molecular underpinnings of disease, the biochemical underpinnings of disease. Okay, so we're starting to get that understanding. Right. You can see at the bottom there in red, we've got this module here, doctors, patients and goals of medicine. This is only available on the medical biochemistry and the medical genetics courses. It's an optional module in year 2, and it's for those that are looking to go on to do graduate entry medicine. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. You do need 60% level average in year 1 to even have access to this module. Okay, but it's a brilliant module in year 2. It really gives the people who are looking to do medicine a good awareness of medicine. There's the opportunity to observe a clinic, the medical clinic. So there's also support in terms of going for the GAMSAT and the entry requirements, what you need in terms of getting into graduate entry medicine. Then in year 3, again, we're getting a little bit more specialist. There's more optional modules, so you can tailor the degree course to what you would like. And then the best module ever, that of course you're all going to take is regenerative medicine, because that's mine. Okay, so yeah, lots of lovely modules. There's slightly less modules in year 3 because you're going to have a research project. Okay, the research project is great. Okay, it's an opportunity for you to really demonstrate the skills and the development that you have developed throughout the course of year 1 and year 2. Okay, it's also an opportunity to gain first-hand experience of research if you haven't already. So a lot of the wet lab practice that you do through year 1 and year 2 are going to be in the teaching laboratories, which you'll get to experience this afternoon. Okay, but when you do your final year research project, you're going to be in the professional working laboratories alongside the PhD students, the Masters of Research students, the postdocs, the lecturers, the academics, all doing the research in the lab. So you're going to be working as part of a team. Okay, that's if you're doing a laboratory-based project. Not all projects are laboratory-based. Okay, there's a certain amount of autonomy in terms of the final year research project, but it's very much supervised. So you work closely with a single member of academic staff. They will help you develop those skills a little bit further in terms of the research project. And then in terms of genetics and medical genetics, again, year 1, very fundamental. You can see we've got that epigenetics flavour, but we're still covering those basic fundamental modules that we need, such as cell biology. You need to understand how the cell works and what all the different organelles do, microbiology, physiology, and so forth. These all are important for understanding disease. And again, the skills tutorial as well. Genetics and medical genetics and genomics has come such a long way in a very short space of time. Okay, we were able to sequence the human genome back in the 1990s. And since then, it's just gone on. Okay, we've learned so much. We now start to understand variations within our DNA and how that interplays in terms of disease, which variations are responsible for our health, which variations are responsible for disease. Okay, we're doing that through much better understanding, improvements to technology, bioinformatics. We've got careers now that didn't even exist 20 years ago, such as bioinformatics, and understanding those variations within our DNA. Okay, so in year 2, again, we've got a little bit more specialization. The sort of medical genetics is slightly more human and medical, and so perhaps those looking to go into healthcare, but there's still very much the research element. Whereas genetics, perhaps there's a little bit more emphasis on microbial and molecular evolution, and it's very much a research-aligned degree program. Again, for those on medical genetics, we've got that doctors, patients, and goals of medicine module as well. And then in year 3, again, we've still got the genetics element coming through: cancer, toxicology, bioinformatics, regenerative medicine. So yeah, lots of lovely modules you can choose from. Again, a lot more optional modules to choose from because you're going to be doing your research project again. Okay. We just talk a little bit for a minute about the research project. Some of you may love to work in the laboratories. And you're like, yeah, definitely want a laboratory-based research project in final year. Others of you, by year 2, you're thinking, no, laboratory's not for me. That's absolutely fine. Medical sciences encompasses so much more than just laboratory research. I mean, I know there's lots and lots of words there. Whatever your interest is, the chances are we've got an academic that would be able to support it. Okay, maybe not the specific research project that you have in mind. You'd have to work with the academic to come up with that research question that you want to work with. Okay, but we're very diverse in the types of research that we do within the medical school. Okay, so everything from education right through. So it could be a laboratory-based project, it could be a systematic review, it could be working with health data, big data, and health informatics. It could be, I forgot what I said, data analysis. What else do we do? Brain dead. Bioinformatics, in silico projects, so it can be computer modeling and looking at different proteins. Okay, so there's lots of choice in terms of what you want to do, and you will be given that choice in year 2. So, you know, as you go through some of the conversations again that you'll have with your personal tutor, will help you decide on an appropriate project, something that again is going to excite you, something that you're going to enjoy doing. Okay. I thought I'd just give you a few slides and maybe an example, just so you get an idea of the types of research projects that you might do. This is a laboratory-based research project, but of course it could also be a systematic review. It could also be something around bioinformatics and understanding variations in the DNA and how they contribute to disease. In this case, it was a laboratory project. So Dravet syndrome is a really nasty variation of epilepsy in children. It's very rare, and it doesn't respond very well to treatment, okay, which ultimately can lead to fatality. And it's caused by a defective sodium channel, which is a protein, okay, in neurons. And the genetic defect is in this SCN1A gene, which codes to the alpha subunit of that particular sodium channel. Now, this is in about 75% of cases. Well, that's great. What about the other 25% of cases? Okay, what's the genetic variation that underpins that? There's now a lot of research in Dravet syndrome trying to understand the different variations that are responsible either as a direct cause of the disease or simply associated with the disease. And one of the genes that they've looked at is SCN1B. Okay, so they're looking for genetic variations in SCN1B, which codes for the beta subunits of that sodium channel. Okay, so what did they do? This is following ethical approval, by the way. Everything we do, of course, is very regulated. But we had blood from 40 Dravet syndrome patients and 294 control subjects. And we were able to isolate the DNA from the blood. Now, in this case, the genetic variation is inherited from the parents. Okay, so because it's inherited from at least one parent, it means that it's in the egg cell following fertilization. Then, of course, as cells proliferate, that variation, genetic variation, will get passed to all cells, which means the genetic variation can be found in all cells, nucleated cells of the body that house that DNA within the nucleus. Which means that we can very simply take a blood sample, yeah, and then we can isolate the DNA. And if that genetic variation is there, we'll be able to isolate it and detect it within the DNA from the blood. Okay. Now, what we want to do is we want to sequence it. We want to know what the list of nucleotides are, those nitrogenous bases that are within the DNA, to understand if that genetic variation is there. But we can't do that straight away. We have to amplify it first. We need enough DNA to be able to sequence it. So we have to put it through a PCR reaction, polymerase chain reaction. And there's too much DNA in the nucleus of cells. We can't amplify it all. Okay, so what we can do is we use little primers and we just amplify that one gene, that one area. Yeah, and there might be 30, 40 cycles of PCR, each cycle we're duplicating the amount of DNA, just that one little area of the DNA. So then we'd have enough DNA of this gene that we can send it to be sequenced. And this is what we get. Okay, so it's that big long list of nucleotides that makes up our DNA. Okay, we've only isolated and amplified up that one gene. And we can see there's our nucleotide sequence, which is represented by all these coloured peaks. See, that represents each of the nucleotides. 3 nitrogenous bases, or 3 nucleotides, codes for one amino acid, which is your building block for a protein. And we can see that the ACC codes for threonine. Now that's our normal, or a wild type, we say in science. Look in Dravet syndrome. So instead of ACC, we've got a single nucleotide substitution. So instead of a C, we've got a G. And AGC, there's the codon that codes for serine. And you don't need to be an expert to look at the molecular structure of threonine and serine to know that actually they're very, very different. And they respond and behave very differently within that protein, which is the sodium channel. So there's your defect for Dravet syndrome. Okay, and you've got a malfunctioning sodium channel. Does everybody follow that? So was that simple enough? Yes, genetics doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to be worried, because of course we're going to support you through that. We're going to give you the knowledge that you need to be able to do a project like this. Okay, and you're going to be working with a supervisor. Yes, it could be laboratory based. You could be doing the PCR, or if you're not into that, you could do a systematic review. So you could look at treatment options for particular variations, or you could look at all the variations that are in Dravet syndrome. There's more than just those two. Yeah. Or you could be doing a bioinformatic project. So you isolated or identified a genetic variation within a sequence. What? So what? What does it mean? Is that normal? Does it have any effect? Does it have no effect at all? Is it pathological? Does it cause disease? Is it associated with disease? So does it work with another gene that causes the disease? Yeah, so you could do a bioinformatics project. Okay, so does that give you an idea of the types of projects that you might get to do as part of your degree?
Well, I've got a very good question. What happens if you start doing a research project, expecting it to go one way, and then
But that's the giant science.
right at the end of it, you realise it was everything you did was a waste of time?
It won't affect it from an undergraduate project. No. PhDs, we often have a different sideline you could go down. That is the whole point of research. It's something that we've never done before, and we don't know. The thing is, you're going to get the data, whatever it is, whether the data's worked the way you think it has or not. Some of the greatest findings that we've ever had in science is because something's gone wrong, or they've done something wrong in a methodology, and it's having that knowledge and insight to know, oh, actually, we interpret this data, it does actually mean something.
Or you could disprove.
Or you could disprove something, yeah. Okay, so no data is bad data, regardless. You've set up an experiment, you've run it, it's not worked the way you wanted. You've still got your data, you've still got your analysis, you've still got your discussion. Everything is still there. Okay, if you're trying to get a technique to work and you just can't get the technique to work, you've still got something to report. So the other groups aren't going to waste their time trying to do something that isn't going to work. You're still going to report it. Yeah, so there's still a project there. Yeah. Okay, a science way. It's brilliant. There's a lot of troubleshooting in science, and sometimes as a PhD student, for example, you haven't got time to do this as an undergrad, but as a PhD student, the entire first year of your PhD might be just trying to get something to work. Yeah, so it's a lot of troubleshooting and working with that. You've got to have good resilience. Okay, so these are 3 research articles that I've just picked. There are 3 different research groups across the medical school, and you can see these names and these little red rings. They were undergraduate students. They got their names on publications because of the work they did as part of their research project. Okay, and there's not just 3, there's loads of them. I've just picked these 3 because they're very recent and they're different research teams. Okay, I have to say that these are probably very proactive students. They might have just done a bit of an internship or some work over the summer period before going into the research project, for example. They're likely to have gone on and done research careers. So they've been very proactive in terms of the research and the time and the effort that they put in to their research project. Right, I did tell you I'd tell you a little bit more about the integrated masters. Has anybody signed up to the integrated masters or looking at it? Yeah, possibly. Okay. It's really great for students who think they might like a career in research, perhaps are unsure. Or it's a good stepping stone for those that do want to go into research, so maybe want to do a PhD. It's a great opportunity to do this. So instead of doing a 3-year degree program and graduating, you don't graduate until after your 4th year as part of the MSci program. Okay, so instead of doing that research project, I don't know why it says laboratory, it's not always laboratory. Instead of doing that research project in year 3, you do a specialist labs technique training in year 3. The idea of that, and you're not in the teaching labs now, we're now in the professional labs, working with the academics. You get to work with all the funky machines that we've got. You get to orientate yourself around the lab so you know where to find things. You get to do a lab book. You're learning new techniques. The idea being that by the time you come to do the advanced research projects in year 4, you're going to be more independent to be able to work in the laboratory as part of the team and treated like a postgraduate student. And we've got some of our ambassadors that are walking around, our MSci students will have done an MSci and have gone on to do maybe a PhD or something. So please talk to them, find out a little bit more about the MSci programme. Okay, so you've got this. Again, I say it's independent, you still supervise. So you're working closely with an academic member of staff. So you're learning, you're developing, you're training. Okay, and often our MSci students do go on to do research careers, but not always. Okay, there's lots of different options.
Is that something that you can decide to do, switch on to as well?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. So what we do require for an MSci degree programme is 60% level average each year. So those who might be already signed up to the MSci from the word go, that's fine. If you don't meet that 60% criteria, you just drop back to the BSc. We're not going to kick you out of university. Okay, you just drop back down to the BSc degree. You don't have to make the decision now. Okay, it's very, very easy to switch across to the MSci programme in year 2. So start on the BSc, it's on all the Gen Bio programmes. Start on the BSc, if in year 2 you think, oh, actually research, yeah, that sounds really good. Might enjoy this whole lab thing. They do tend to be lab projects for the MSci. Talk to your personal tutor, go and talk to the lead for the MSci programme, which is Paul Facey. We're all really friendly. We'll find out if it's right for you, and it's a very easy switch across. Okay, we'll just transfer you onto the MSci programme. So yeah, there are conversations that you can have as you go through your BSc. Okay, well, what if you don't want to do research? What if you want to become a doctor? Not everyone knows at 18 years of age that they want to be a doctor. It's a tough career. Sometimes it's good to do a medical sciences programme first. And it's good because you can change your mind in the medical sciences programme. You might come in wanting to become a doctor, and then in year 2 go, well, actually, no, I'm quite enjoying this research malarkey. I want to do that because I want to learn more about disease and how it works and molecular mechanisms. I want to get the next best drug or research and development or whatever, okay, rather than just treating patients. Okay, so you need to be doing medical genetics or medical biochemistry to get onto the pathway to medicine. Even if you're doing genetics or biochemistry, you can still apply for medicine. I feel I should just get that across. There's nothing to stop you. It's just you're not on our medical pathway. Does that make sense? There's nothing to stop you applying for graduate entry medicine at Swansea or anywhere else in any degree course you choose, okay, as long as you're a graduate. But this is our medical pathway. So you do medical genetics or medical biochemistry. You need 60% level average in year 1. That opens up that doctors, patients, goals of medicine module that we talked about. A bespoke module, they've called it. You will need a GAMSAT, which is a really horrible exam, but very challenging, it's good. You will need a GAMSAT, and you also need to meet the entry requirements for graduate entry medicine. If you get all of those and pass that doctor's patient's goals of medicine module, you get a guaranteed interview for graduate entry medicine at Swansea. Can't talk for other universities. Okay. There was a Gen subject talk today. Did anybody go to it? Is anybody possibly thinking of graduate entry medicine? Yeah? Good. It's best to keep an open mind at this stage. So we've got a little video that'll tell you about it. So it could be that you're applying for medicine this year, but maybe as a 5th choice, you can perhaps think about medical genetics or medical biochemistry as an option and get that medical science training under your belt first.
A pathway to medicine is a structure that exists within some of our BSc programs. It's for students who want a guaranteed interview for our graduate entry medicine program, but are keeping their options open, possibly as a 5th choice in their UCAS form when they're applying for undergraduate medicine, or they know that they want to do a 1st degree before they apply to graduate entry medicine. Mostly medical sciences type degrees for students who want to explore their passion for medicine. There are a range of other career options which our graduates go on to, but there is that pathway there for those students who want.
The Pathways to Medicine courses are an excellent foundation for going into graduate entry medicine because firstly it gives you a chance to enjoy Swansea and to get a little taste of what it's like to be in university. It's also a great backup choice if, like me, you don't get into medicine the first time. It gives you another chance to apply through your fifth choice and to get around to medicine in the long run. It also prepares you for what it's going to be like to be a doctor and to work with patients every day, and that's invaluable.
Right, so that's graduate entry medicine and our medical pathways. Okay, so if that is something you're interested in, again, it's good to keep an open mind. Of course, all our programs are research-based or lead into a whole variety of different careers. So it's fine to come in wanting to do medicine and then change your mind in year 2. That's fine. I remember having, I've had several actually personal tutees that have really been tunnel vision to medicine to the point that they've not even wanted to discuss anything else. And the joy of doing a medical sciences career is you're finding out about careers you've perhaps never heard of before, and they may take your interest. And I've had lots of students come in tunnel vision towards medicine in year 2, gone, no, I don't want to do medicine anymore. I'm more now interested in this or research, or really I've enjoyed that research that I did, or that little internship I did over the summer. I now want to follow that up and see where that takes me first. Okay, so it's great to be able to change your mind. I'd love to be young again, you know, and have all these options ahead of me. So there's loads and loads of stuff that you can go into with a medical sciences degree. We've got, I spoke to a student the other week. She graduated in July. She came back to see us just to say hello. This is how well we get to know our students, you know, as they go through the degree program. She came back to see us and she's working in a laboratory as a lab analyst, and they're troubleshooting PCR and working with PCR. Like I showed you in the example, she's now doing it as part of her career, and we've given her the skills to be able to do that. Okay, so you could go and be a lab analyst, you could go and work in research and development, you could be on the project management side or the laboratory side. So a lot of our students might go on and do talk masters or research masters, and then perhaps look towards becoming a clinical scientist, so doing the science training program. We can go into all manner of healthcare scenarios. So maybe 18, you don't quite know what you want to do, get that medical sciences background. I had a student last year that's gone on to veterinary science down in Southampton, I think. Where was it? Southampton. And we've had, I've had another student applying for paramedic science this year. So all manner of different healthcares as well as medicine. Teaching, we've got PGCE at Swansea University, so perhaps you might want to go into teaching. And you don't have to do secondary school teaching or primary or whatever if you don't want. You know, in terms of genetics and genomics, education is now really, really important. We've got Wales Gene Park in Cardiff. They've got a whole education department that go out to all different places, teaching the public about genomics, teaching our NHS workers about genomics, so we can get genomics into the clinic. We can start using it more. So we're understanding the technology. You can go into industry. There's loads of industry partners and biotech companies. You know, around graduation time, they're all looking for graduates to come into their companies that they can train up. Medical writing, for example, or publicity, scientific management, and so on. So there's loads and loads of opportunities that you can do. Okay, it really does depend on the student. In terms of our graduate prospects, you know, we're pretty good at Swansea University. I think one of the reasons why is that we've got Swansea Employability Academy that do so much work for students, and they really do help with the employability side. And that's what I said to you about really trying to enhance your CV while you're at university. It's not just about doing the assessments and passing the modules. You know, there's so much more that you can do to really develop that CV to get yourself into a really good, desirable position for further education. You know, doing internships, getting into the laboratory, doing some research outside of your academic timetable, and really developing those skills. Okay, the proactive students do very, very well. So lots of help and support with that. In terms of what we're looking for in terms of our degree courses, So this is what is published, okay? We recognise students come from all different types of backgrounds. Got T levels now. Never heard of those until a few weeks ago. So there's lots of different qualifications we look at now to get into our programmes. What I will say to you is on results day, when you look at your results, if they are not quite what you anticipated, talk to us. Come and talk to us, okay? There's always room in our programmes in clearing. Please come and talk to us and we'll see how we can help you. We do make individual offers as well, so we talk to you as a person. We find out, you know, what kind of choices that you want to make, what courses you want to do. Okay, we are lovely. The academics man the phones in clearing, along with our marketing team. So you just, please don't worry, just come and talk to us. We also have a foundation year. So if it is a bit of a blip, and you don't make the grades to be able to get onto our BSc straight away, we have a foundation year as well. Just a bit of a step into the BSc. The only thing we ask for is a 60% overall average in the foundation year to get onto the BSc programme. Okay. Some students just desperately want that independence. They want to get to university, and the foundation year can be a really good way to facilitate that if you don't quite get the grades that we need. Okay. So those of you with offers, congratulations, that's fantastic. And we hope to see you at Swansea University very, very soon. Even if you've got an offer, there's still time to change. You know, there's still that flexibility. So please have a look at the degree courses. Please have a look at the different modules that we have on those degree courses. Make sure it's something that's going to excite you and inspire you, something that you want to do. Okay, that you're going to enjoy doing the coursework on. Okay. Swansea is very flexible. We will work with individual students to make sure that you get the right course for you. There's still time to apply. UCAS Extra opens opens from the 28th of February. Okay, so still plenty of time to apply. And as I said, there's always spaces of our courses at clearing as well. So please just come and talk to us. We recognise that cost of living is a massive, massive decision. You know, when you're looking to go to university, it is expensive to go to university. What I'll say to you is that Swansea University is much cheaper in terms of the cost of living than many other cities. Our rental is cheaper here, and cost of living is a little bit cheaper. Okay, I don't quite know why, but it is. Swansea University also have a lot of support in place. So a lot of our students don't like to work in their halls of residence or their homes, so they come and use study spaces on campus. So we've got loads of study spaces, you know, in the library in Taliesin. Some people like to work in the bar in JCs, in the student union. We have study groups that people work in, and these places are heated. So you don't have to put the heating on in your home. Come and work on campus. We have specific study spaces, quiet study spaces that you can use, or noisy study spaces if you prefer that, where you can work in groups and teams. So, you know, use the space we've got available. We've got microwaves. Students can bring their own food in and heat their own food up, so you're not buying every day. So lots of facilities that you can use on campus. We've also got Money at Campus Life. Go and have a chat with them, see what they offer. They do hardship funds, you know, and if you're really rubbish at budgeting, they'll sit down with you and you can learn how to budget with the money that you get in and how to work with it. Okay, so there is support for you on campus in dealing with the finances that you have to do when you're living independently. There's also scholarships available, so if you do really well within your A-levels, there's scholarships. These will be automatically paid to you. We've got Welsh provision, perhaps not important for this cohort. Okay, so lots of different bursaries and things. Again, Money at Campus Life will have all the relevant information you need for that. Anyone like sports? Anyone do sports? Okay, we're not a sporty lot then. Not this afternoon, we'll gloss over that one. But we do have a very, very good sports complex, and maybe some of you will choose to become sporty. So Pilates or whatever you want to do. A huge sports complex just across the road. Massive 50-metre pools where Ellie Simmons used to train for the Olympics, Paralympics. Lots of different accommodation. Go and have a look at the accommodation we've got. whether you want to live in the heart of everything, in the city, along with the nightlife and busyness, or whether you want somewhere a little bit quieter, close to the beach, you know, have a think about the accommodation we've got. There's guaranteed accommodation for everybody. Okay, and just get out there and explore. There's lots going on in Taliesin today, so go and see what you can find. These are the Welsh slides, which I'm going to skip through. Okay, anybody want to study abroad or go abroad? Opportunities? Oh, a few of you. Okay, that's great. We are looking. I know a lot of courses do this industry year. We are looking to do something similar, but it's taking a long time to get in place. So it's coming, but I don't know whether it's going to be in place for you guys starting this year. We do have opportunities to go abroad though, particularly over the summer periods. So please go and find Go Global. I think it might be in Taliesin. Please go and find Go Global, go and talk to them, see what opportunities are available over the summer periods. And again, it's great for your CV. You can do that. Okay, and really enhance and develop you as a person. Okay, you've got a bit of time. It's running until 4 p.m. We've got accommodation tours. So please go and have a look at the accommodation. And I love this slide. Okay, because now we've got support for parents as well. I remember as an 18-year-old, 20 years ago, going off to university, going, oh, I was like, duck to water, absolutely loved university. It was brilliant. I never spent second thought of my parents, didn't care. They went home, pre-mobile phones. We had one payphone between about 30, 40 of us. So I never ran home. When I did, she was always really nice. I was like, you know, she was never cross with me. Now, of course, we've got mobile phones. I'm a mum of 2 teenage boys who are coming up to possibly university level. And I'll be like, make sure you ring me every week, let me know you're okay. Okay, so there's support for parents and towards students in the room. Just think of your parents when you're leaving the nest and living your independent lives. Okay, so there is support there as well. I'm going to leave the slide up. If you do have any questions, we're going to do a question and A in a minute now as well. But even after you've left, if you do have any questions, there's an email there. So please take a photo of that or a note of it. And I'm going to pull up our wonderful student ambassadors to come and have a little chat with you. So it's great hearing from an academic perspective, but it's also great hearing from the actual students who are studying with us at the moment. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Great. Yeah, so hi everybody. I'm James. I'm in the 3rd year of medical biochemistry here.
Hi, I'm Favor, and I'm in my 2nd year of medical.
Lovely. Yeah, so we're just here really just to answer any questions you might have, about the course, about offers, about the uni life and what it's like here. Does anybody have anything that's sort of off the top of their head?
I was just going to ask if you do the joint honours, biochemistry and genetics, and that still be part of the pathway to medicine?
No, they're not part of pathway to medicine. Of course, you can still apply for graduate medicine. There's nothing to stop you. So you do the graduate, you do the degree, and then you apply in the normal pathway.
Yeah.
So no, you don't get that guaranteed interview.
Okay. Yes. Great. Okay. In that case, we'll tell you a little bit about sort of like our time in Swansea and how we found it. Yeah. So I applied to Swansea. I was applying for medicine, sort of more kind of what I was interested in. Ended up here. And honestly, it's probably the best thing that's happened to me. I've really enjoyed my time here so far. I think maybe one of my favorite things is probably just the amount of sort of like lab time that we get. So we're in the lab from week 1. And you'll spend a lot of your time sort of, especially in 1st and 2nd year in the lab, doing actual practical work. By the time you reach sort of like your 2nd and your 3rd years, does anybody know what a multi-tough mass spectrometer is? No? It's okay, I didn't either. But it's a, yeah, so we have these like, this really advanced, quite expensive sort of lab equipment that's really sort of cutting edge, and you're using it from your 2nd year. So you're able to kind of engage with this, really great stuff. And then as you move to your 3rd year, when you're doing this sort of research project, you're doing things that sort of kind of move towards real research. So for example, I'm working on a project about diabetic retinopathy. We're trying to basically establish if a change in screening protocols might be able to pick up more cases. And hopefully, we're looking to publish that in the summer. So you do have the opportunity to do these really sort of impactful bits of work that do kind of have real world consequences. Yeah.
Yeah, so I also came to Swansea with doing medicine in mind, and I ended up doing medical genetics to go on to the pathway to do graduate entry medicine. I will say my course I do think is quite enjoyable. At first I didn't really have an interest in genetics, which is quite shocking because I chose medical genetics. But I will say that you do end up loving it. Like each semester we do have one compulsory genetics module. But apart from that module, we do get like a variety of options. So you do get to like dabble into different areas. And I know some people don't like lab. I'm one of those people. So you will have modules where it's not as lab based. But even though for the lab based modules, I still enjoy them quite well as well. They're very interesting. And like he said, literally from the first week we are in the lab. And they do teach you what you need to do. So even though you don't know certain terms, like what he said, if you can't remember how to pronounce, even though you don't know certain things, we will teach you what to do and how to take things further. Yeah.
Great. So has anything come to mind, Frederick?
For genetics versus fire.
They'll be roughly the same. Yeah, so they're taught, especially in first year, they're taught very closely. Obviously, biochemistry and genetics, especially more recently, becomes more and more interlinked. So you need a lot of that same basic knowledge. So you spend roughly the same sort of roughly the same amount of engagement time. Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah, 2025.
I can show you. Do you want to see the timetable?
Two.
You keep talking and I'll just find the timetable.
Yeah, lovely. But no, we probably spent just kind of off of vibes there. It feels like we spend probably yeah, three or 4 days a week on campus, some full days, somewhere, somewhere to, especially when you're kind of working on those more when you're doing those sort of more intensive lab projects, you might be in for an